I have a lot of women who watch me, and there's a lot of women that come on and like, I never am going to date again. I don't trust men, and this and that and the other, and everybody's in their place. But one of the things I want to come on here and talk about is I think it's always a good idea for women, to have strong men in your life, and vice versa, for men to have strong women in their life. Uh, and I'm talking about men that they don't sexualize or objectify. I'm talking about men in spaces where they can mentor you, they can show up for you in ways that are platonic, respectful, and safe. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. And again, I want to talk about, the benefits of having men that are strong show up in your life, in different capacities. Like, it could be, mentorship. And I think you should have a mentor in every aspect of life, anything from parenting to finances to career to whatever else you're into, buying a home, fixing your home or maintaining your home, those types of things. I think you should have mentors in all sort of aspects of life, and people that do that will sort of ebb and flow for you. But I think it's always a good idea, and when you have men that are strong that show up for you, you can go to them, you can talk to them about needing advice, people who will unselfishly donate their time to benefit you, of course, and they don't expect anything necessarily in return. And I've had a lot of great men in my life, just strong men that showed up in different ways. And I could, I'll certainly tell you about it. I'll do a little story as an aside about a couple of them. Um, and even men that don't show up well, you can ask yourself, what is this showing me about myself, and what is this interaction showing me about how I interact or how I engage with men? Like, what am I learning from this interaction? So just always make sure that you have people that are strong. If you get abandoned on the side of the road, who can come and help you and get you out of the mud or change your tire. If you something happens and someone is aggressive towards you, if you're dating someone and you need advice, work advice, things like that. So, just have a strong man in your life. I encourage that, um, having that. And I have several even now. So, one person I'll share with you, I've had since I was in grad school the second time. So I started my second grad school program in 2008, and he and I started together. Um, and for people who will ask, I'll put in the demographic information because I do have people that will ask me on different platforms. He's a white gay man. He's about 6 years younger than me, and we attended the same secondary grad school program, and he's been my friend, since then. Every birthday, he's always calling. He'll call me. He's like, okay, well, let's get together, and he's always taking me out to dinner. I mean, every time we get together, really, and we meet up, we do dinner, we do lunch, whatever we do, he's always paying for it. I never pay, and I appreciate that. Not that I need him to, but I appreciate that. Um, I'm always welcome to his home, troubleshoot problems. And not that I go to him for problems, but, I remember in grad school, one of my people on my dissertation committee was not acting right. He basically showed his ass, and this guy really stepped up and was like, you know what? I'll help you out. Don't even worry about it. So he got me out of a bind there. But he's always sort of a cheerleader. It's like, what are you doing? You need to push through. I'm rooting for you, type of thing. And then, another man in my life was my first internship supervisor. in my secondary grad school program. I had already had another degree, so I had already had my master's and had all this experience going into my doctoral, practicum. And it is, I don't know if anybody's ever talked about this, and I could do another separate post about this if anybody's interested, but it is very hard as a Black student, even with a lot of experience, to get chosen for an internship. And that was kind of the experience that I was having. And I got selected, and, my supervisor was a godsend. He put me in like a supervisory resident role. So I was like supervising the other residents. I got a lot of experience. He wrote letters for me. Um, and one of the highlights of my career is like, several years, maybe like a year or two ago, he called me. He's like, I just want you to know, I watch your social media. I keep up with what you're doing. I'm so proud of you. But he's always been a cheerleader. He's always given me excellent advice. He put me in places, and things like that. He was a white Jewish man, for anybody who wants to know the demographics. And then I've also had another Black man. I went and did I've done some things where I've consulted over the years. And so this particular man put me in the room at his organization to consult. So that was fantastic, and I really appreciate that. But I've had other men. Like I've had a gay male Indian friend. We were friends for over 20 years. And he would just kind of show up at my house and, come over and take me to the movies and, dinner and things like that. He would always just be like coming over, and things like that. So just men who have shown up for me in different aspects of life. And you just have conversations and things like that. There's a lot of good men out there. And not every man needs to be your boyfriend or having sex with you or things like that, but you can learn a lot from men. And even, at my last job, I had a colleague. He and I didn't start off on the right foot. In fact, we actually hated each other. Thought he was a racist, old white guy. And he just, and he would just say off the cuff things. But, 5 years we worked together in corrections, and turned out to be one of my best buddies at the end of my correctional career, just because, in corrections is very funny. It was a lot of people who just stopped coming to work one day. And so I remember me and this guy, we were like the only two people who showed up at work for a while. Like, out of everybody, out of our entire team, we were the only two people. So we didn't have any choice but to, show up for each other, because clinically we were all we had to rely on. And that was out of supervisors, everything. It was a stretch there where it was just he and I. And, we started eating lunch together, started consulting and things like that. So, but, there's just people that, uh, you know, be open to the possibilities, be open to, people that are different, culturally, ethnically, have different values and beliefs and things like that. Just be open to that. And I hope that this post helps. Thanks so much.